In this lesson, I'm going to be talking about pop-ups and how to handle them in Basecamp. So Basecamp basically requires pop-ups to work, as I'll demonstrate in a bit. In order for you to fully experience the Basecamp experience and projects, the technology it uses is pop-ups. But unfortunately, pop-ups are by default blocked by most major browsers in the market right now. And the reason is because pop-ups in the past have been very much abused by those with less than noble intentions. And what happens is if you go to a website, suddenly all these windows start coming out, and they have all about advertisements, and some of them can be, just about lotto and you're a winner and stuff like that, and others can be a bit more embarrassing than that. So they are a problem, and that's why browsers have a feature called pop-up blockers by default, and they are enabled to prevent those kinds of incidences. However, in this particular case, Basecamp requires pop-ups to be disabled rather, so that it can function. So there's a very easy way to do that. If we can just go now to Basecamp and choose your club. So here I'm just going to choose my home club, Aspire Toastmasters. Login. And here, immediately there's a message here saying that I have to disable the pop-up blocker. And as I mentioned before, the browser I'm using is one of the recommended browsers called Firefox. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to disable the pop-up blocker in Firefox. So it will show you here, Firefox will have a yellow line here saying that it prevented some pop-up from opening. You can change this by going to Preferences and simply choose the first option, which is Allow Pop-ups for Toastmasters CSLD.com. That is the URL for Basecamp. Don't bother with these things. Just don't. I would recommend that you don't unless you know what you're doing. Just always choose the first option. Okay. And now that that's done, we'll have to refresh the page. So just refresh the page here. Go back in. And now pop-ups are disabled for Basecamp. And that's how easy it is. As you can see here, these are the features. I'm just going to quit this. But if you see that, then you know it's working. And you need Basecamp. You need pop-ups to work, because if you go into your path and you launch a project, okay, it is going to launch a pop-up. There you go. So this one is launched. This is a pop-up. It has to be enabled. That's what it has to be disabled so that you can see this. Okay, so that's how you disable it in Firefox. If you're using Google Chrome, which is another popular browser and another recommended one, this is how the pop-up blocker looks like. So the first time you log into Basecamp with Google Chrome, again, a message comes out here saying, please disable your pop-up blocker. But instead of a yellow bar down here like Firefox, here in Chrome, the pop-up is over here. So just click on that, and as before, select the first option, which is Allow Pop-ups, and then click Done. Next, we'll have to refresh the page. And that's it. Pop-ups are now enabled, and we can test that by going to Icebreaker, launching a project, and there you go. So that shows you how to disable pop-up blockers in Google Chrome. Finally, in another popular browser, Safari, we can use Safari to log into Basecamp, and we'll see the pop-up blocker if you're going through this the first time. Again, it shows up here, disable your pop-up blocker. In Safari, there's no way to disable it on a per website basis, so you have to do it on it's more of a general setting. So you'd have to go to Preferences and then untick this one. Once you've done that, just refresh the browser and you should be good to go. So those are the 3 options for accessing Basecamp. Highly recommend that you stick with those. With these browsers, Google and Firefox are the 2 most popular ones. And if you can, I've just shown you earlier how to as well disable pop-up blockers. So if you just use those 2, either one of those 2, and use the instructions earlier, then you should be all right to access Basecamp.